All right, fellas, man. Welcome into another episode of X's and O's with the regular Joes. But I'll tell you what, this dude is not regular by any stretch of the imagination. I've been listening to this guy on 93.1 WZAK for years. I just told him before off air. I said, yo, my mom, when I told her that you was coming in and stepping in the booth with me, she was like, oh, snaps, let's go.
Shout out to
So
mom.
this guy is one of, I would say, one of the biggest entertainers, one of the most talented dudes I've seen, from comedy to DJing to writing rhymes to doing all those things. We got the world famous DJ HAZMATT in the building, my guy. What's going on?
Wow, man. Hey, GBUSH, that was like the most incredible intro anybody has ever given me in my life, man. I tell you what, I didn't even know you was talking about me anymore. I was like, what is he talking about right now? But I appreciate it, man. And tell your moms, I appreciate all the love. Tell your moms I said, what's up? What's up? I appreciate
Definitely.
all the love. Thank you.
Definitely, man. I mean, you're one of the dudes, and I just say this because you're one of the guys who you've been rocking with us since the 1-15s, the 0-16s, man. And I think sometimes people don't understand. You gave us a lot of a release, because here's the thing. What do you talk about when you 0-16? What do you talk about when you 1-15, right? So
Right.
you give us that that feeling of being like, okay, somebody feel like I do, but you're doing it in an entertaining way, in a fashion, and just talking about the games. And so I commend you for everything that you putting down. I just wanted to start at the beginning a little bit and get this out about you. We hear you on the airwaves at 93. We've heard your music, your spoofs, your recaps through audio, which I haven't seen done in the game, period, anywhere. How did you start? How did you get your start? For a lot of people out there, I talk to a lot of African American youths, and the first thing they ask me is, "Hey, being one of the only African Americans on the air, how'd you start? How'd you get there? Any advice?" So let's talk a little bit about your story and how you got started in the game.
Well, I've been in the music since I was a kid. Like my father had always had music around, and I used to sit for hours just listening to my father's records, man. Like vinyl records, literally sitting there as a child, just playing all of this old, the music of my father's time, Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, so I was really into music all the time. I really probably thought something was wrong with me. I used to sit and just rock to the music and just for hours on end. So music's just been in me. So when I got old enough, at probably about the age of 15, and I tried to play football, but I had a serious ankle injury, something similar to Dak Prescott back then. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So I started DJing. Literally, after that happened, I started DJing with a cast on. I used to hobble over a friend of mine's house who had some turntables, and because I didn't have any turntables. I grew up right on the west side of Cleveland, West 130th and Bel Air, and I used to go over there just to mess around on the turntables, and then I worked summer jobs, got me some turntables. I'd be in my room for hours on end, like all through high school. I used to catch the bus downtown, go in the arcade, to the record stores, buy as many records as I could with my little budget, and catch the rapid back home, and just go in my room and just listen to all this music. So then I had all my father's albums and then my album. So music was just in me. And then when the hip hop game came, because I'm not no young dude, I've been around since all of that started. My idols was like Jazzy Jeff and these guys that are on the turntables. And then I started getting into the mixing and the rapping and all the aspects of hip hop. I've done it all, like break dancing and popping, putting the cardboard down, doing all that, man.
The graffiti, the popping.
I used to draw all that. Yep. Every aspect of hip hop, I lived it. You know what I'm saying? Basically, since hip hop came out, we've been on it. You know what I mean? So, and I tried to rap. I tried to be I tried to get into the music business. Like I was with a couple guys, my story with, after I got out of high school, shout out to John Marshall Lawyers, graduated from John Marshall.
Shout out to them too.
Yeah, I was living out in Maryland because I was actually born in Havre de Grace, Maryland, which is near Aberdeen and Harford County, Maryland. And then I moved out here when I was probably about 3 years old. So I grew all the way up out of high school. Then I spent some time back there. You know what I mean? And that's when I ended up getting into radio. But for any advice for somebody that's trying to get into anything that you want to do, because I spent a good decade out of school not really knowing what to do, just kind of working different types of jobs that I hated, you know what I mean? But what I always loved was music, you know what I'm saying? So once I realized my worth in that and understood that I could use these talents I have to earn a living, I got on that path, man. I stopped BSing around, you know what I'm saying, and really set some goals, you know what I'm saying. Went to school, got certified out in at Harford Community College. Shout out to the community colleges of the world, because they had a radio station there. I used to be able to get on the I had a little radio show on a station out there in Harford County, Maryland during my years. That was like all through the 90s, mid 90s when I was out there and trying to do the rapping. And that just led to me getting an internship with Radio 1 in Baltimore. And so I got on first. I was working for Baltimore 92Q jams out there and in promotions. I was one of the promotions guys setting up the tent and the tables.
You know how it go. You know, I interned at ESP in Cleveland. You know, shout out to Emmett Golden, and you know what I'm saying, he used to be over the intern program. So man, you know how it is. Promotions, you all out in another county, you doing the prize wheel, you doing, you know, you doing hits from the weekend. So yeah, definitely know what that's about, my G.
Yeah, but before I got in the radio, I started rapping though. So when I was with the rap group, we was putting music together. We had a little gimmick that we had, you know, I started to really hone my skills for rapping back then. You know what I mean? And we had a little style that we did where we would rap backwards. This was before Nas did it. I just want to put it out there. Wow. Nas rapped backwards on his what was it? The Godson album. But we did it back in 92. We was rapping our sentences forwards and backwards and was starting to master that whole style. So and I used to battle cats on the radio. You know what I'm saying? I used to do I've never been defeated on the radio, by the way. I've been in 2 different sets of battles, and I earned a reputation out there for rapping, you know. But and then I got into the radio game and started to learn a different aspect of the industry. I got a chance to meet a whole lot of people in the industry through my experience working those years in Baltimore. I got fired from Baltimore.
You really ain't in the industry unless you get fired from somewhere first.
You got to get fired from somewhere first. But you know, ironically, I would end up getting hired here in Cleveland a year later, and it brought me to back to my other home. But I always used to come back and forth. My mother's here. I got family out here. My father's whole family's here. So I would always, you know, as a child, back and forth between here and Baltimore and you know, really more like Harford County, north of Baltimore. So I got peoples out there and people here. And so I was always, you know, it's like a tale of 2 cities. But as far as sports is concerned, I rock with Cleveland because that's when I was introduced to the game back when the days of like Brian Sipe was the quarterback, I think. My first years of knowing about, you know, and they was rocking the orange pants and San Ritigliano. And that's how far back I go with the Browns. So you know, when I was a teenager, that's when they was going through the drive and the fumble and all that. I was a teen. That was my DJ years. Okay. When I was first starting to learn how hone in my DJ skills, and the Browns were you know, with Bernie and Ernest Biner and all of them. You know what I mean? So when I moved to Maryland, they were still good. You know, it was like 88, 89. They had went to another championship. So my chest was out when I was living out there. And then, you know, they had a couple down years. They got good again. Then,
so, you know, how was, you know, that had to be crazy. You know, they go to, in 95, they go to Baltimore. And like you said, you have roots down there already. What was that like? Was that bittersweet? Like, wow, they're in Baltimore, but I still rock with Cleveland.
Right. So, you know, the whole thing about whatever happened as far as Cleveland being able to keep the name and the colors and all of that. And so, because initially they were going to be the Baltimore Browns, and they had already started putting Baltimore Browns merchandise like in the stores and stuff. And I never bought it. I wish I had,
Wow.
A Baltimore Browns t-shirt or something like that, because that'd be like a collector's item for me, because it kind of represents me more so as far as my fandom goes. You know what I'm saying? But no, they said the Browns were coming back, so I said, well, that's my team. Now when I was out there, I met, and started getting to know people there. I knew somebody for every team in the NFL damn near, but because they didn't have no team. You remember it happened to them,
Right.
Their team left. And so their team had been gone for what, like 13 years or something like that.
Yeah.
They left in like 83. So they would get, and they're going to be the Ravens and that first go round with that logo. I really just couldn't get with it. But I worked for the radio station there, the city of Baltimore's #1 radio station. And I happened to be on the radio the Sunday night that they won the first Super Bowl.
Wow.
And I had to be on the air.
Wow.
While the city was going crazy. And I mean, I couldn't be disrespectful. I had to rock with them. You know what I mean?
You can't get down like that, man. Like you can't, like, it's just like, yo, you gotta do that, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But I mean, I got ties there. I got 2 children that were born in Baltimore. My father's buried in Baltimore. One of my grandfathers is buried in Baltimore. So I have ties there. So I had somewhat love until the fans in Raven Nation grew and they started talking so greasy and crazy about Cleveland.
Oh, so you just was like, I can't do it.
I can't do it. No, I can't do it. My oldest child, my son, is a Raven fan.
Right.
Rightfully so. Because I urge you to be like me. Be loyal to your home team.
Where you was at.
Exactly. I could have been with either team. You know what I'm saying? I could have love for both teams if I want, but the fans won't let me. There's no way I can sit around you talking greasy about the Cleveland Browns ever. So I would get into a lot of heated discussions out there. I got cousins I go to war with every year, and and so then the Browns come back and they're trash. And it's like,
Did you ever during that time period where they came back, right? That 99 they come back, you excited, they getting the first pick, they get Tim Couch, they get Courtney Brown, they getting some of these dudes that we know in the early parts of the 2000s.
Right.
At any point in time, was you just like, I might want to go ahead and switch this up?
No, never. I just continued to talk trash. You don't understand. Anybody that knows me from the time that I lived in Maryland, they know who my team is, because I have rocked with them as if they were winning. You know what I mean?
Like, it never changed.
So then the dynamic for me was coming back and getting around. I'm like, okay, I'm back with the Browns fans now. So I go down to tailgates, and it's like the Browns fans had been it's like they had been through so much that their emotions are they're just kind of like emotional wrecks at the time. You know what I mean? This is like 2008 now. So we in the thick of this the losing trend that we were on. You know what I mean? So I'm coming back hoping that we gonna, because I always spoke positive about them no matter what. I never had anything bad to say. People like, you just Browns, no matter what they do, you just gonna accept this, you gonna accept that. I'm like, I'm gonna get behind them and root for them, because I want them to do good. I want them to back up my words, because I'm at the water cooler getting my head beat in and they're not helping me out.
Crazy,
but I stayed loyal. But I will tell you this. I know you said you never heard this thing I'm doing. I'm not gonna just take all the credit, because when I was in Baltimore, then we had a local morning show. Shout out to Mark Clark and the Big Fat Morning Show. It was Mark Clark and Troy Johnson and Marva Williams, and they did this thing they called the Breakfast Flakes, right? And they used to do spoof songs about the Ravens.
Wow.
When I was working at the station, right? And they even let me join in on them sometimes. Like we took a Jay-Z, we took What More Can I Say one time. They let me get the third verse. And I had already earned a reputation battling on the radio. So I was on there giving them the real verse, because these two guys aren't rappers. You know what I'm saying? They're like hosts and entertainers. So they not that they couldn't put nothing together, but they
ain't
wasn't like I was
it like that. They ain't have it like you.
I was a real MC first before I became a radio guy, and then they're, you know, well, I don't know what I don't think they were rappers before they did that show, but much love to them. They were doing that, and much love to them for letting me be a part of it. So that's kind of what I did. I was like, man, I should do that for the Browns. You know what I mean? I just decided I'm gonna do a song. You know, I'm gonna do one because I had made up like an anthem. Well, I tried to make an anthem, and I see a lot of people do that.
Yes. Now that's the thing. Yeah.
A lot of people try to make anthems, but and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna bring that back. I'm gonna do a song every week about the Browns and whatever happens in the game, win or lose. I'm gonna make up a joint and just put it out there, just because.
What was your first joint that you dropped and really it hit hard? Like, wow, people was on it, like in terms of the game you put together. And what year was this?
This was the season before last, when I think the Browns beat the Jets. They were playing and this was Odell had that long 90-something yard joint.
Yeah.
Right. So then I took the song Benny and the Jets and flipped it to the Brownies beat the Jets. So that was the first one that really started like getting a lot of recognition. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if we were a couple weeks in that season. And because I did the first one because we got beat bad by the Titans or something crazy like that.
Oh yeah, they got destroyed. They got destroyed by the Titans. They came back, and then I think they played the Jets. It was either week 2 or week 3 on a prime time game on ESPN.
Yep, because I did the first one. I did it to Kendrick Lamar's "Humble," because we got humbled because when everybody was coming to the season, like, yeah, the Browns are about to, yeah. So we got humbled.
We in here,
and that one was a kind of a. You know, they started to evolve, you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, so people paying attention. So let me go ahead. Because, you know, I'm older now and I didn't know what to do with these rap skills. I'm like, well, I can use them for this. You know what I mean? I'm not like putting out any music, but I can still get that out of my system because I still like to get on the mic and spit some bars. You know what I mean?
Every once in a while, you got to get them out, people. You got to get them bars out. You got to. Like, it's just like, does it hit you in terms of your writing for these games? Does it hit you during the game? Like, okay, I got to make a bar about that. Like, oh, that was a crazy catch. Or what kind of call was that? Like, that was one of the worst calls I've seen. Are you formulating during the game, or does it just really come after the game when you're recapping?
No, I don't during the game, because when I'm watching the game, I'm totally into the game. You know, I want the Browns to win. So I'm not even necessarily thinking about what I'm gonna rap about. So I really do my research after the game. Like, I go back, watch the footage again. You know what I mean? I listen to a few shows, hear what people are saying, you know what I'm saying? So I can kind of really capture the mood of the moment of the game. You know what I mean? So I prep a little bit, and then I just take all of that information and then just come up with, just write something, try to write something dope, man. The weird stuff is that I can't never remember these songs. I got to do them so fast. I don't really get a chance to commit them to memory. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you're not like really drop it. Like, if you had to do a concert of all of your, like,
I'd be like Waka Flocka dancing around to the song. While
let's do it.
That's hard, because think about it, man. That's 2 seasons worth, 16 joints, you know what I mean, and some extra stuff last year because of the playoffs, you know what I mean? So you talking 30 something plus tracks. I even did one for the pandemic, you know what I mean? And the one I just dropped the other day, shout out to the Cleveland Browns, showed me some love and posted it on their
that's fire.
Twitter and Facebook, and they left it pinned up there. So much
that's
love.
That's fire. Make sure you go check that out, man.
And I put all the videos, all the seasons are on my YouTube channel, Hey Haz TV. If you ever want to just take a trip down memory lane. And
I was just on that prepping for this interview, and and make sure you go check that out, man, because I did not know you had a YouTube channel. Like I didn't know you had Hey Has TV, and I'm like, hold on, he out here doing this too. Like I need to get on top of the YouTube channel. And the thing too, I don't think people know you drop reviews too. You drop Browns recaps too. I did not know that, bro.
Yeah, man. I do a podcast too with a partner of mine from Radio One named Matty Wills, and I'm HAZMATT. So together we're Matt and Matt Sports. Okay. And we once a week on Sundays, we get on a platform similar to what we're doing here, and with the backing of, you know, the radio stations Z1079 and 93.1. We talk about the Browns, we talk about all the, you know, Cleveland sports, we talk about a little bit of pop culture, you know, we just have fun and we let people chime in and leave their comments, you know what I mean? And we also you know, I also do the television segment for Dish Nation.
Of course,
the television show that comes on WBNX TV. Shout out to Patty and Lisa and them at WBNX TV. Yeah, the Dish Nation television show that features Head Crack and the Brat and Gary with the T.
Yeah,
who else is on there? Sherry Shepherd's on the show now.
Wow.
And I do a nightly segment, a minute segment called the Dish Minute, right here from Cleveland, and they do feature some of my Dish Minutes nationally, like every Tuesday. So we've been rocking for about 6 years now on that Dish Nation. So, and that's just me writing about just entertainment news, anything. Always try to tie it to Cleveland as best I can, but I just try to talk about everything. You know what I mean? Just have fun. I usually try to make light of a story, find something I can turn into a punchline.
Man, that's a blessing, man. Like to see a brother from, Cleveland go out and do that kind of stuff and be all over the place, whether it's syndicated television, whether it's on the podcast side, whether it's on the radio side. That gives an example of guys out here that say, yo, you can be a guy that can do that. You African American brother, just you can do that. If
I can give you a haircut. I can cut hair.
I didn't even know you I used to tell people it's always a couple dudes in your camp that always can cut hair, right? You'd be like, man.
But I'll say this about, I could cut hair probably as long as I've been DJing, but I didn't put the time and the efforts and get on the right path behind that to become a successful barber like some of these guys are now. Yeah. It's just like you got to really believe in whatever it is that you feel you have the talent to do, and go figure out how you can earn money doing that, because this is the time more than any, especially with all these social media platforms and the way you can promote yourself and just kind of put yourself on right from your own house, you know what I mean?
So spot. Like,
so yeah, so and that, yeah, like during the pandemic, we all should have learned that this is, I've been right here in the studio cooking up whatever I can, do creatively, because for the radio station, I am the production director also. So I do, audio editing,
promos, all of the reads, all of the
commercials,
all the commercial, the imaging.
I'll turn a commercial into a rap. A dude tried to hit me with that because I was battling dudes when I actually was a radio personality, and they still couldn't beat me. And they had all the ammo. One dude was going on in his rap about how I rap on everything. I'm always rapping, you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, I do. And I still
nice. Don't get it twisted. That's the greatest thing about hip hop is the only competitive art form, right? You know what I'm saying? Like I was just watching the other day. I watch dance battles to this day. Like I'm fascinated. They got they got this whole new wave, like the Jersey club scene. Back in the day, like go-go is huge down in DC and Maryland and DMV area. I got my cousins live down there in Virginia and Maryland and DC. And so when that go-go movement came up, like, what I'm saying, you had guys like Wale, who was repping that movement. I would be fascinated by it, because it was just like, man, they got live instrumentation. This is such a different wave. So I'm always interested in the waves of music and and how that affects the culture. And nowadays we got, hip hop is the language of people who play in the league. That language, is different. When I came to 92.3 The Fan, they was playing alternative rock songs. And I was like, hey, bro, no disrespect, but I can't come out to Creed. I can't. You gotta give me something. You gotta give me some music beds, bro. You gotta give me something. I had to bring them from the house, but hip hop it speaks to that.
And I grew up in hip hop music, but I will say this: prior to hip hop music coming out, I was into rock and roll as a kid. Like I was listening to like Kiss, you know what I mean? I remember Kiss meets the Phantom of the Opera. I remember when that movie came out, I used to collect Kiss bubblegum cards, man. Like you would go to the local little the Dairy Whip up the street and you could buy the bubblegum cards, and they came with Kiss, and on the back of them was a piece of the puzzle. I had all the cards and put the whole puzzle together on Kiss. Like literally, I'm talking Gene Simmons, Ace Frehley. I used to be into that. I was borrowing the records from kids in my class because I didn't have rock and roll albums at my house, but they had them, and I would bring them home and listen to them. You know what I mean? And we had a few other some rock stuff in our house too. So I just incorporate like all of that because but obviously I gravitated towards hip hop because of the rawness of it, the being on these turntables. I got some turntables right over here, just being able to scratch and do that with. I don't know. There's just something about that I just love, man. Those vinyl records back in the day, and I had all of it. Like every single vinyl came back out. I had everything that's coming back out, and it was only like $7.99 back then. It was like $12.99 for a whole album. Now you got to pay like $40 to get that same record.
Yeah, it's like this new. It's been like a resurgence of that movement. Like
it's nice.
I always wanted to know this. When I was growing up, I think the first Midwest cats that I saw was Bone Thugs and Harmony, right? And Bone Thugs and Harmony, to me, I didn't even know that they was I thought they was from California. You couldn't have told me they wasn't from California, bro. I was like, yeah, they from Cali somewhere. And then when I saw them with the Andre Rison jerseys on in the video, I said, oh, whoa. They was talking about East in 1999. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. When they hit, and you were in the city at that time, I lived in Canton, Ohio, which is about an hour and some change south. What was that like when they hit? Like, and they had the first of the month joints and the big mainstream records. What was that like?
Well, I was in Maryland when Bone hit. I was still living in Maryland. I mean, it was a proud moment for me because I had been talking all my Cleveland stuff all these years. And so I had somebody come out and represent for Cleveland that people was like respecting. So for me living out there, it was a proud moment for me because these cats was from the city that I grew up in. It was the other side of town for me. But, I was like, yeah, Cleveland. Y'all thought, because, people from outside of Cleveland don't speak highly of Cleveland. And it's not because they know anything about the city. It's just because they just doing what everybody else does. They be like, oh, everybody's always clown Cleveland, so I'm a clown Cleveland too, for no reason at all. And I've fought these battles outside of Cleveland everywhere I've been. You know what I mean? So whenever we able to stick our chests out and say, yeah, that's why it was so special. I cried when the Cavs won. 2016 was a heavy year for me. I lost my dad that year. He didn't last long enough to see them actually win. You know what I mean? And so it was just a very emotional moment. He was a proud Cleveland fan too. He was living in Jersey at the time, and he loved all of the Cleveland teams. So he didn't really, he didn't get to see at least one of the teams win a championship. And he, like literally months before it happened, he passed away. So just representing for the land is just something that's always going to be, you
just said something that's crazy. Like, I remember when they won, I cried. I was at my house. And I was, at the time, my ex-wife was like, she didn't know what was going on because she wasn't a big sports type person. So she come in and I'm just crying. Like, she like, what's going on? We're like, bro, you good? Like, she looking like, come on, bro, we got to call somebody. You tripping.
Right.
But my grandmother was such a Cavs fan. My grandmother, rest her soul, she was 90 when she passed away, but she watched every single Cavs game. So all I could think about was when LeBron left, she was like, no, I'm still going to watch LeBron. But when he came back to the Cavs and we lost to Golden State, the first time, she passed away before she could see the championship. And it was emotional because I would have loved to see her be able to see that. So right. I'm right with you in terms of the way you emotionally attached to the squad. Let me ask you this question. We haven't even talked about the team yet, man. What type of energy do you got right now? Because the city's on fire, man. Like, I call the Browns the New Americans team. Like, you know what I'm saying? The Cowboys had it for a while, but right now, you can't tell me the Browns ain't got that energy like that. The field, like you turn on ESPN, Fox, we on the bottom line. They talk about Baker and Odell and all our free agents. Man, what do it feel like right now? And what's the outlook for you in terms of the Browns this year?
Oh man, I'm very excited for one. You know what I mean? So, obviously this is special for a person of my age who's gone through all of the changes of the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. You know what I mean? So just for them for them to be gaining the respect, because for me, I just wanted people to stop looking at the Browns and automatically just ruling them out. You know what I mean? And people still, there's still a little bit of that stigma, that stink that was on our name that we got to still kind of shake off because people are still doubting. You know what I mean? So I'm just anxious for us to just, eviscerate all doubters this season, because I truly feel, and you know this, G. Bush, you watch a lot of football, man. You played, right? So you know how this team is constructed, man. And anybody with a smart football mind can understand what's happening here. It's like we know it's coming, and we obviously, and I don't believe in curses. I'm dispelling that right now for anybody who ever tries to say that. I don't believe in none of that. I don't believe in none of that. I believe that when people have the right mindset and everybody come together the way that the Browns have in this past season with Kevin Stefanski and this new regime, that we are headed in the direction of being a consistently good team. Yes, I won a Super Bowl, but I'm not selling my soul to get no Super Bowl. Like all of the people that were talking about trading for Aaron Rodgers and all of this nonsense that's been being talked. I couldn't watch the sports shows without somebody hearing about Aaron freaking Rodgers. Yes, Aaron Rodgers is nice. And let me clarify this, people. This is not a debate about who's the better quarterback. Can we please just say that? It's not about who's the better quarterback. This ain't John Madden. This ain't fantasy football. You're not just going to drop him into the insert Aaron Rodgers equals Super Bowl. If it didn't equal a Super Bowl for Green Bay, what makes you think it's going to guarantee one for us? I mean, he was right there on the precipice of getting in the bowl last year, and he didn't get in. He didn't make the plays at the end of the game. So, and it's not just about that. Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback. He's had a great career. He's one of the most talented quarterbacks I've ever seen. But I believe in Baker Mayfield. Why is everybody so soured on Baker Mayfield? I think because Baker Mayfield is not getting the respect he deserves for being a #1 overall Heisman winning draft pick coming out of college. Who was sitting right next to him as the runner-up, by the way, that year when Baker won the Heisman? Who was sitting right?
Who was Lamar? It was Lamar Jackson.
It was Lamar Jackson. Yes, Lamar Jackson didn't beat out Baker Mayfield that season. So, and as much as I love Lamar Jackson, And I would love to love Lamar Jackson if he didn't play for the freaking Ravens.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? And and then it comes to how we feel about the evolution of the black quarterback. And look, we love to see it. We love to see it. We love to see it. But Baker can ball, man. That's all he's ever done his whole life. And they trying to play him like he Jared Goff or something. Like, come on. He's not Jared Goff. He might not be Patrick Mahomes, but he's certainly not Jared Goff.
Do you think I always tell people, see, Patrick Mahomes does this to a lot of people. Patrick Mahomes is so good, right? You watch it and you say, okay, well, there's Patrick Mahomes and then there's Lamar Jackson, right? So Lamar Jackson is just electrifying. The way he does his thing is just different. But then Patrick Mahomes, we talk about Aaron Rodgers. Patrick Mahomes might have the most talented arm I've ever seen in my life. What he can do with that is crazy. So then you have the guys in between it. And it's like, if you're not that or you're not that, it's like, well, what does Baker do? What does he do well? And is he a system guy?
What has he done wrong? That's all I'm asking. What has he done so wrong that we're the only team that they're talking about possibly trading our quarterback for Aaron Rodgers? I didn't hear them say Buffalo should trade their quarterback for Aaron Rodgers. Was Josh Allen not drafted in the same draft as Baker Mayfield? He wasn't even considered to be the top guy over Sam Darnold when he came into the league. That goes to show you that they don't know what they're talking about when it comes to these quarterbacks. Now, nobody projected Baker Mayfield to go number one. So you heaping a lot of, and it's like the people that were the Carson Wentz people. It's like, give me a break. Look with your own eyes. Do you see what I see? I saw 11-5 team. I saw 11-5 team that destroyed the Pittsburgh Steelers in the playoffs and went toe-to-toe, literally toe to Patrick Mahomes' toe in the divisional round of the playoffs. Had it not been, for us a lack of some defensive prowess, then maybe we would have won. Then people want to blame the game on Rashard Higgins' play. Listen, we had a whole second half to get back right after that play. You can't compare that to the fumble from back in the 80s, because the fumble really just sealed it. Basically, that play, though it hurt, it didn't seal the game.
And I think it's that rule is tough anyway. Like, fumbling, it's a stupid rule anyway. Fumbling why would you give the defense the onus on? Why would you give them an advantage of fumbling out the back of the end zone? Like, you take away the touchdown, so you don't get that. You don't make it a spot call, and then you give them the ball like on the 20. It's a dumb rule. Second of all, we never talked
so much about it until it happened to us in that playoff game, because we've seen it happen before, and we're like, I never got this riled up about it.
Then we watched the helmet to helmet hit, and we like, but that's helmet to helmet. Then you realize, well, it's helmet to helmet, but he's a runner, and so you're like, oh my goodness, that's kind of.
I knew they weren't going to call that.
That's not happening. Stop. You're not getting that off.
Because if let's just be honest, Cleveland fans, if the role was reversed, we would have accepted that all.
We taking the ball, go home. Oh, we'll take that. Bye.
Touchback. Should have dropped it.
Let's go, baby.
Bye. That's the rule. We know the rule. When it happened, I just sat there like, because I knew what the rule was. I knew what was about to come down.
You just and they did all that, and then people I was on Twitter when it happened. I was just like, people going, and I'm just sitting there. You know how it is when you done played football. You know the rule. You just like, I'm just like this. Come on, man. Just go ahead. Just get on defense. You talk. Hey, Miles Garrett, we gotta get back on defense. We gotta get back on D. Sudden change. Come on now. So where do you fall on? Where do you fall on? We talked about Baker. Yeah, they try to trade him every week. They talked about him, and then
the media.
Yes, and I knew it was a problem because then they had the Deshaun Watson thing for a while. People don't remember that. People was like, "Hey, well, Deshaun Watson doesn't want to be here." I was on the radio taking calls about that. I'm like,
imagine if that would have happened with everything that's going on with him right now.
Yeah, that's not. Listen,
why can't we be satisfied? Why is the fans. The grass ain't always greener on the other side. Okay,
No, it's not.
Stop it. Tend to your yard. Okay, you want
Hey,
the grass to be green? Water your own yard.
worry
That's
about
what you
your
gotta
own mix.
do.
This
Plant
is on
seeds
my mix.
in your own grass. I would rather the Browns make it to a Super Bowl establishing their own identity. I don't want somebody else's identity to be our identity. I don't need Aaron Rodgers to save my team. My team is already on its way. How it's so disrespectful. Shout out to Baker Mayfield. If you hear me, I rocks with you, man. You know what I mean? You ain't got to go out here and go crazy to win Super Bowls. You just got to play within the constructs of the team. That's all you got to do. Be great when it's time for you to be great. And everybody else do the same thing on the team. Everybody be great. We'll have a great team and we'll win. And everybody else, please shut up for once. Please stop.
What do you think? What do you think's going to happen with Odell Beckham Jr.? What's going to happen with this? How do you think he'll play this year? And is this his last year in Cleveland?
Well, it's more than likely this team is this. We're not gonna come back in 2022 with this exact same roster. There's too much money to be dealt with after this season is over with. We got young guys that got to get paid, and we're giving away. We're paying a lot of money to Odell. Now you can't. You're just not gonna have two receivers making that much money for that long of a time. You know what I mean? Now, hopefully, Odell Beckham Jr. I think, things happen for a reason. Why did his knee break down on that freak play? I don't know, but maybe it gave him a chance to fall back and really see the team from a distance. And it gave Baker a chance to, elevate his game. If there was anything to the fact that Baker was forcing the ball to Odell Beckham Jr., him not being there allowed Baker to become more of what the quarterback that we need him to be. So now if Odell comes back and he's had to have witnessed this, that Baker is the true leader. You come in there and you follow Baker, let Baker lead this offense the way it's supposed to, and you just go and play your role. You know what I mean? You go run your route, and if the play comes to you, it comes to you. If not, you on this wave, bro. You might be a Super Bowl champion if you do that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There's no reason for him to come back. Not saying that he does, but I don't know Odell Beckham Jr. personally. I don't know if he's demonstrative in the huddle. I don't know this about him. You just see the antics in the past videos of him with the kicker's net. And, you see people on it. You see him out there yelling and screaming at himself by himself, and you're just like, okay. But as long as he is about the team, I don't have no problem with it. I don't have no problem with his because of his talent, his caliber of talent. But like when they first started talking about trading him, I wasn't necessarily like jumping out of my skin. I'm like, oh, we got Odell Beckham Jr. Because once again, this is not fantasy football. This is not John Madden. You're just not going to take a player with a 97 rating and put him on this team, and then they're going to do the same exact thing. You have to develop chemistry. You have to, people's mindset have to be in the right place for these things to work out. And right now, it's working out. And Odell Beckham Jr. should see that and fall back in and with the right mindset. And I think it'll be great. It would be great. It'd be awesome if we could do this and Odell Beckham get his shine and everything else, because I don't believe that we could go beyond this year paying all of them.
Well, you look at it. I believe Odell Beckham Jr.'s cap number salaries, I think it's $14.5 million. I think Jarvis Landry is in the 12s. I think it's $12 million for Jarvis Landry. Odell has had a history of injuries. I think he's been injured the last 3 years, major injuries too. It hasn't been just hamstrings or calf pulls. He broke his ankle. He had the hip injury. He tore his ACL. These are all things I think for Odell. If he comes back, I think he's an added dimension that the Browns missed when we played the Kansas City Chiefs. I think when you take a look at what he can bring to the table as far as being a deep threat or people having to pay attention to him, I think that will help us this year. And I think what they've done is when you look at this offense, I mean, best offensive line in the game. Two explosive receivers. They go and get Schwartz, who's a guy who can take. I mean, he's the fastest dude in college football. I mean, come on now, he's running 10 flats, and that was when he was 18, 19 years old. So know what he's bringing to the table. Now we can do that, and now you have two of the best running backs in the game with Chubb and Hunt. Let's talk about something you just said. You said you can't pay everybody. What are your thoughts on what's going to happen with Nick Chubb? Does he get that deal he wants? Because he's one of, to me, he's probably one of the, he's the catalyst to what they want to do offensively, because you got to load up to stop the run. However, are they going to be able to pay him and Denzel Ward? And David Njoku already wants to be out of here. You got you got Teller, who's a guard that came out of nowhere, who's making pennies on the dollar. There's all kind of guys out here who want this deal. What are your thoughts on Chubb and what does he get, and does he stick around with the Browns?
I think you kind of have to you kind of have to pay Chubb. You need to always be solidified in the backfield. You can't let a talent like that walk out of the door. But the good thing about Chubb is that, his personality to me suggests that it might not be that hard of a conversation. You know what I mean? That things could possibly get worked out, because he's not a guy who's chasing money. You know what I mean? Of course you want to get paid. You definitely want to get paid. And but I don't think he's a guy that's gonna be like drawing a hard line, like I need to be the highest paid this guy or that guy, because that drives a lot of decisions that people make when they get, because I'm sure their agents get in their ear, hey, if you test the market, then they'd probably pay you this to come here and this and that. So I just think, for the most part, Chubb has seemed to be all in here, and I think you continue to keep guys like that around. You know what I mean? So I would do what I have to do. Denzel Ward, I don't know. I mean, I like his play, but his play also gets him hurt, and he's shown not to be durable. I need durability also. So, if it comes down to, I hope it wouldn't come down to having to pay one or the other, but I would look at the track record of injury and reliability and who is really making more of an impact to the team, if it ever came down to that decision. Because of course we want to keep everybody. I love Denzel. I love the way he plays. I just keep playing like that. I just hope you don't get hurt. You know what I mean? So, and the same with the guy we just brought in, Newsome. He's had a bit of a injury history as well. So, but with the speed that they've added to the linebacking core, because I think the way Joe Woods wants to run his defense, I don't think he expects the cornerbacks to have to be tackling the Derrick Henrys of the world too much.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think you expect the linebackers and the front to hold that down, so you don't really expose your corners like that and make them have to come up and try to lay somebody down that's much bigger than them, and that's what causes guys like them to get hurt. I mean, Deion Sanders was famous for not tackling people. You know what I mean?
Business decision.
Right. So, I mean, because Denzel Ward, he has to understand that we right now, since you're professional, we need you to just stick like glue to that man. And it's not your responsibility to come up and hit people like that. And you got to understand that. I think he will, as he gets a little older in this game, he'll start to understand that and become much more of a savvy corner. But if it came down to we got to pay one or the other, I don't know. I think we might be able to find another corner before we can get another Chubb.
Before we let you get out, I got one more question for you. We've talked about the team, the roster, paying guys up next. what is your outlook on this season? A lot of people have asked me, is this a Super Bowl type season, a Super Bowl or bust season? We know that Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski have done a lot to be able to retool. Even we, like you just talked about with Newsome and guys, hey, we need another corner. Greedy Williams was hurt last year. Hey, we need more safeties. We got JOK. They want to be versatile. They've restocked and got Clowney and Tack McKinley and Malik Jackson. The names go on and on and on.
Oh, you give me the chills. Give me chills.
Just don't it, right? Don't it?
Yes.
This is an opportunity where you still have all of these guys on one team. You have to pay Baker, you got to pay Chubb, Denzel Ward want money. You don't know if you're going to have Odell and Jarvis back. David Njoku is another guy. We even talk about Austin Hooper, who's making a bunch of money at tight end. Is this one of the best times of one of the best opportune times in the history of the Cleveland Browns that they can capitalize on making it to the Super Bowl with this roster as constituted?
I believe in this roster because I'm just looking at the other AFC teams. I think you got to go off of what is the competition out there. You know what I mean? How do we measure up to the teams that we're going to have to beat in order to get to the Super Bowl? And everybody is using Kansas City as the barometer. Well, I feel like we can compete with and beat the Kansas City Chiefs. And I guess what? We're going to find out week 1 how it's going to shape up early. And I mean, I would hate for that to be some type of a mental trap game. Let's say we go out there and we actually beat them and it's a pretty convincing performance. Does that go to the head and stop? I know Stefanski is pretty level-headed, and I think he's been doing an awesome job at managing the personalities that we have, you know what I mean, and trying to change that culture. So I don't, I just wouldn't want us to start off hot and then get cold. You know what I mean? I would rather us, I want to win. I think we can win, and I think they say our schedule is not. They said it was a tough schedule, but the NFC North, I mean, we don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to be with the Green Bay Packers. You got Chicago, and their quarterback situation is in flux right now, and we don't know that if Justin Fields end up on the field, how good he's going to be. So, and the Minnesota Vikings, I mean, I don't know who's afraid of Kirk Cousins in them. I mean, the running back they have there, though,
Dalvin Cook is nice. They got a couple of receivers. Justin Jefferson
is nice, and I mean, all NFL teams have good to great players on them. You know what I mean? So, and the AFC West, obviously, the Raiders, the Los Angeles Chargers, everybody is already riding the back of Herbert. Right. Herbert's the closest thing to Patrick. Okay. I get it. All right. Whatever. Just disrespecting what we have going on right here. Cleveland, understand, you have one of the hottest young quarterbacks and be thankful you have one, because there are teams that do not have one. Teams that thought they had one, like Chicago, and now look at what they're doing. Now they're in the draft again. Teams like Arizona, who has started all over with Kyler Murray. So just be thankful that you have one of these guys on your team and just ride it out. Stop wishing for what everybody else has. And I just think we could compete with anybody, especially in the division. You saw we went toe-to-toe with the Ravens. You saw what we did to the Pittsburgh Steelers, literally destroyed them, beat them down 2 weeks in a row. I just want to say extra on that for any.
Yeah, just throw that little extra season on that.
It's just really just, oh yeah, we just that, and they want to talk about history and all of this. Like, stop talking to me about the 70s. Why would you please? If I can't go back to the 60s, you shouldn't be able to go back to the 70s. That's a new rule. Take your 2000 Super Bowl, the ones you won in the 2000s, and that's 2. but you wasn't alive, most of you, before when they won the other 4. So just stop it, man. You know
1926, we were dominant.
Oh no, they were terrible back then.
They were horrible.
They horrible.
Still want to mention that the Browns
the first 30 years of their life, they were terrible. But it's all good. They have their good history, but that's history. History. This is the future. This is the present. And as it stands right now, the last 2 times we played the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think that was a W for us. So we're gonna keep that moving. And you got Ben Roethlisberger, who's done. He's done. I don't know if he's done, but he's not the Ben Roethlisberger of old. He's just the Ben Roethlisberger who's old.
Yeah. Hey, but we'll take that. Keep trotting him out there. I was clapping it up when they brought him back.
I didn't want him to go away. We got some unfinished business. We still need to see Ben. We still need to hit him. We still need to get him on the. We want to sack him a few more times now that we good. We don't want you to run. Don't run so fast, Ben. Face these new Browns. Face these same old Browns. Okay. I
want to go get Joe Flacco and Andy Dalton, bring them back. Yeah, y'all was beating us too. Come on back here. Look, get you a little sample of this too.
Where's Joe Flacco at now? He's somewhere.
Man, he's out somewhere fishing, just being regular.
No, he's wearing on the right team. He's on Philly. Isn't he in Philly?
He's still running around here getting checks.
Yeah, he's still running around here getting checks, man. Him, Tim Tebow, everybody.
They just, hey man, they just, woo, you all in another bag. You in another. Listen, they just, hey, just you might, he might be able to. Really,
hey, it is what it is. It's Urban Meyer, we won't go there.
We won't go. Hey, shout out to Urban Meyer. We'll see how you're gonna get introduced to this NFL game.
Him and Sunshine, Tim Tebow, they got
all this.
They got the guys down there, man.
Man, they got man. I appreciate you so much for coming on with me today, man. We definitely want to have you back again, bro, just to chop it up with you during the season, man. And I want you to let everybody know everywhere you can find this, like 96 places. So you got a list, where can everybody find you and check out your work?
Well, 93.1 WZAK, the radio station right here in Cleveland. You can get us on your radio. We got the app at 931 WZAK. We got the website, WZAKCleveland.com. My shows are on Saturday night from 8 to midnight. If you love a mixed show with just some party music, I go in because that's why they call me DJ HAZMAT. My DJ self is out on Saturday nights, and I just rock out for 4 hours. I just talk with my hands the whole time, just 4 hours of just partying, and you can just set your joint on, put it on your Bluetooth speaker, and just have a good time wherever you at. And then on Sundays, 12 to 4. It's more of a formal show where we talk about some things and play some good music. So that's me on ZAK. You can also catch me on Dish Nation Monday through Friday. The show comes on at midnight on WBNX TV. You have to check your local listings to see what channel that is for you, depending on your network. So that's that. And what else? I don't think I got anything else going on. Oh yeah, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Hey Haz TV. And catch all of the videos that I do, all of the recap videos, the dish minutes, and any other content. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to, get my subscribers up. They say you can make some money.
If you listen and get them subscribers up, make sure you liking, make sure you sharing, make sure you're doing that. It's going to be a great season.
Everything is at Hey Haz, HEYHAZ. If you put at Hey Haz on Twitter, at Hey Haz with the number 1 behind it on IG, Facebook /Hey Haz. Just that's how you can find me. That's why you hear the ladies saying that. But
hey Haz, that's what my mom says. Hey Haz, I'm like, listen, you know what it is, man. The world famous DJ HAZMAT, Cleveland's own, in the building. I'm gonna thank you so much, and we definitely gonna do it again, my brother.
Man, it's been an honor, man. I really appreciate you, man. And you do an awesome job. The barbershop. Y'all make sure y'all check GBUSH out, man. I probably need to come up there and get a shape up, man.
I need it. Why you think I got a hat on today? I ain't have it. What you mean? It wasn't just for the
I got a million hats in here. They just left me a whole wall full of hats.
Man, this dude has, by the way, listen, there's only a couple dudes right now. I think when it comes to Browns gear, It's like you and Pumpkinhead. Y'all got a cheat code right now. See, y'all got that Browns hook. Like, see, y'all got a cheat code out there. They got the unreleased joints, the hockey, everything is elfed out. I'm like, this guy. See, I was like, listen, man, put me on. Stop playing.
Hey, dog, I don't do nothing special, man. I just look around. I shop around, man. That's all I do.
I'm like, man, this guy's authentic pieces is hurting people out here.
Hey, but you know, the Browns did holler at me. They said they was gonna go to pro shop and send me something. I'm like,
stop playing. Listen, if I see you come out here in a brown spacesuit, I know something. Out of the tailgate, he out there in that spacesuit. I'm like, man, shout out to D and Jimmy.
We just want to make the Browns cool again. You know what I mean? For a long time with younger generations, the Browns just weren't cool. You know, you say, hey, man, do you like the Cleveland Browns? And they be like, ugh. But now it's like the Browns are cool. So it's cool because these colors have always been live, especially the rock with any kind of gear, with the jeans. It go with the boots. You know what I'm saying? Like you can really get this brown and orange off, man. I'm telling you. Let me show you how to do it. I'll show you,
man. That brown and orange, man. Like listen, man. I got my fall coming around. We about to ready to go. I got the second season of my barbershop gear with the gunmetal gray. I was like, oh, we've been asking for them to just throw it. Can you throw a gray in there? Remember when they had the unis, right? Yeah. They was like, yeah, we about to have gray uniforms. They was like, no, you're not getting no gray. Doing none of that.
Yeah. Hey man, I love that they went back to the traditional. I got one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, and like I said, I appreciate you. Whenever you want to have me back, bro, just hit me up. I'm there for you, bro.
Appreciate you, man. And we gonna off here. I'm gonna get your address. I'm gonna send you some barbershop gear so you can go ahead and add that to your repertoire. Go ahead and add that, man. I appreciate you, man. As always, man, DJ HAZMATT in the building. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Make sure you check out the barbershop. We'll catch y'all another place, another time. Peace.
Peace.